Thank you for being here, and welcome to the inaugural Al Dia 40 Under 40. My name is Lorraine Ballard Morrill, and it's my honor to MC this program tonight. We encourage you throughout the program to consider subscribing to Al Dia. It's simple. All you have to do is scan the QR code that will appear during the presentation. Anyone who subscribes today will receive the 40 Under 40 special edition. We also encourage you to share, tag, and post on social media during this program at Aldia News using the hashtag AldiaLive and 40 Under 40. Now, please enjoy our introductory video. Welcome to the annual showcase of the most diverse and impactful young professionals across the Philadelphia region. The mission of the 40 Under 40 event is to magnify the diversity in a professional workforce and to honor the hard work and dedication of people from diverse backgrounds. Our aim is to shine a light on community leaders and their impact in the Philadelphia area. The class of 2020 will represent the new generation of business and community leaders, media, influencers, innovators, and artists. Congratulations to Al Dia's 40 Under 40 class of 2020. Thank you, Al Dia team, for putting together an exceptional program for tonight. As you can well imagine, organizing an event of this magnitude was no easy feat, considering having to coordinate the roles of 50-plus individuals through a pandemic, not to mention creation of editorial content, which is the core of Al Dia News. None of this would be possible if it wasn't for the support of our partners. Thank you to our presenting sponsor, Independence Blue Cross, for making this event possible. And now, a word from our presenting sponsor, Independence Blue Cross.
The pandemic has paused our lives, even as conditions change. But when it comes to personal health, our bodies don't have a pause button. Continue to get routine care and refill prescriptions. Together, we will beat COVID-19.
In addition to our presenting sponsor, Independence Blue Cross, we would also like to thank our supporting sponsors. They are J.P. Morgan Chase, Gateway Health, WHYY, the law offices of Eric A. Shore, Temple University College of Public Health, and Lincoln Financial Group. And now, I would like to introduce the founder, editor-in-chief, and CEO of Al Dia News, Hernan Huaracao.
Buenas tardes. Good evening. It is my privilege to welcome you to the first ever Al Dia 40 Under 40. What is Al Dia 40 Under 40? How can it be different from the 40 Under 40 celebration you might have seen before? Why a celebration like this is even necessary in the middle of a pandemic? Well, we grappled with the answers to this question for months, but at some point we stopped talking and decided to act. COVID, we decided, was certainly not going to stop us. The urgency of showcasing these extraordinary individuals you will meet today, on the contrary, became much more evident precisely because of the effects of this pandemic. The inequalities, for example, prevalent in our society, further exposed by COVID, made us realize how late we were giving full recognition to this new generation of professionals that don't show up in your standard 40 Under 40. I want to credit the professional team at Al Dia that led the charge, all of them young leaders with extraordinary potential. Thank you, Martin, Aliyah, Melanie, Nigel, Maybeth, and Yamili for pulling off this event we're hosting today virtually, and for the special edition that we're publishing this week. What makes 40 Under 40 different? This particular edition of 40 Under 40 is different because the reality is different. If 20 years ago I was the only Latino professional in a 40 Under 40 list of a very prestigious publication in town, today we have so many more that they won't fit the 2 or 3 slots allocated normally in existing events to people who look like us. Today we're so many, and many more will come for sure, that will need the 40 slots. In this first year, I want to report we have up to 160 nominations, 4 times more than those finally selected, but our exclusive panel of jurors. By the way, I want to thank the jurors, all of them senior professionals that should have been recognized years before. Today, they are helping us identify those who are following in their footsteps. Thank you, Juan Lopez, Senior Vice President of Finance and Independence Blue Cross, Sheila Hess, Senior Representative for the City of Philadelphia, Tiffany Numis, Senior Manager, Concas, Raul de la Rosa, VP of Sales at NBC Telemundo. Last but not least, I want to thank the corporate partners that made this first year event possible. Independent Blue Cross, our presenting sponsor, thank you for your support. To the 40 honorees, congratulations for having been selected as part of the 40 under 40 class of 2020. Keep up the good work and keep making us proud.
Our judging committee played the most critical role of selecting the 40 most exceptional candidates that today represent the inaugural class of Aldea's 40 under 40. We'd like to thank Raul de la Rosa, VP of Sales at NBC 10, Telemundo 62. Juan Lopez, Senior Vice President of Finance Shared Services at Independence Blue Cross. Sheila Hess, City Representative for the City of Philadelphia. And Tiffany Numis, Senior Manager of Town Hall and Campus Programming for Comcast. Here is a word from our Judges Committee.
Hi, I'm Sheila Hess, City Representative, and I'm so honored to have been asked to join the judging committee for Aldea's inaugural 40 under 40. Selecting the 40 honorees out of all the amazing qualified young professionals was no easy task, but this challenge showed us there is great change happening in our area with so many people that champions diversity and features meaningful inclusion.
My hope in this 40 under 40 is that we find the next leaders for our city that can help build that network of support for the rich diversity that the city has come to enjoy.
The stories are not always amplified in the same way, so it is important for our future leaders to really see themselves, see their stories reflected, and that's why highlighting Aldea's 40 under 40 is so important.
These are the events that make a difference because they actually highlight individuals and individuals who are making a difference, individuals who are committed to change, who are committed to progress. Now more than ever, as our country takes a deeper look at diversity and inclusion, it's the right time for companies to be supporting and being behind these types of events.
Congratulations to all the nominees and to the awardees being selected as the first ever 2020 Aldea 40 under 40 class of 2020. Congratulations.
I would now like to introduce our keynote speaker, Raquel Tamez. She is Chief Executive Officer of the Society for Hispanic Professional Engineers, or SHEP. Since onboarding in June of 2017, she's brought a renewed energy to the membership organization, expanding national programs, services, and resources offered to the more than 11,000 members across 270-plus chapters nationwide. As the CEO, Raquel guides SHEP's mission of helping the Hispanic community realize its potential through careers in STEM, science, technology, engineering, and math. She envisions a future where Hispanics are recognized as leading scientists, engineers, mathematicians, and innovators. Without further ado, here's Raquel Tamez.
Good evening. Buenas noches. First off, I want to offer my sincere and heartfelt thanks to Hernan for inviting me to be a part of this special event. When I think of Aldea, I think of what we Hispanics represent: resilience, hard work, an unwavering commitment to a sense of familia and comunidad, the courage to take back our narrative and write our own history. It's an honor to be here, and I hope you out there in the audience feel the same. When first I sat down to prepare this speech before the global pandemic brought everything to a screeching halt, I knew I wanted to say something about the Latinx experience in Philly, a city I've long adored from afar and where I thought I'd be delivering these remarks in person. So I did some research. and I learned about the first significant wave of Cuban and Mexican immigrants during the late 18th century, about El Centro de Oro and the melting pot of Hispanic culture it's become, about the city's amazing Latin-inspired culinary scene. This history gave me a new appreciation for the vital role that Latinx people have played in Philly's history, and the even bigger role they'll have going forward. I even discovered Aldea's 200 Years of Latino History in Philadelphia, a 228-page photographic record of the city's rich Latinx heritage. During my search, I came across a name I'd heard before, though I couldn't quite place it: Felix Varela. Born in Havana in 1788, Varela grew up in St. Augustine, Florida, the first Spanish outpost in the United States and a special place for many Hispanics. Varela's grandfather, who raised him after the death of his mother, was a military commander in Spanish Florida. Only Varela had no interest in following in those footsteps. Instead, he returned to Cuba, where he studied to become a priest. He carved his own path. In 1811, Varela joined the Cathedral of Havana, where he earned a reputation as an intellectual. A few years later, he published his first book on philosophy, which quickly became a hit. He then traveled to Spain as a delegate of Cuba. While there, he joined in a petition for the outright independence of Latin America. He wrote an essay arguing for the abolition of slavery. When France overthrew the Spanish government and restored the throne of Ferdinand VII, Varela was sentenced to death for his views. Before he could be captured, he escaped first to Gibraltar and then to the United States. Varela was 36 years old when he first came to Philadelphia, a place that would become foundational to his future endeavors. He created the first Spanish language magazine ever published in the U.S., El Habanero, one of several Spanish publications he would launch. And while he spent most of his time in New York City, the impression that Philly left on him was indelible. If there was a 40 under 40 list of that day, no doubt Varela would have been on it. He was a fierce advocate for human rights and religious tolerance. As a member of the diocese in New York, he learned to speak fluent Irish so he could better serve those fleeing the country's devastating famine. Varela was fiercely Catholic, but he was a humanist at heart, someone who was willing to look beyond his own culture and experiences and lend a heart and hand wherever he could. Today, there are statues and chapels dedicated to Varela in New York City, St. Augustine, and many other places. Of course, this is a far different world than the one Varela inhabited. The politics are different. The power structures are different. But the causes of freedom, equality, justice are just as important today as they were 200 years ago. In fact, I'd argue they've been more important than they are right now at this moment in time. We are so close to achieving real, lasting change in this country, to write a new history, a new narrative where everyone is truly seen, heard, acknowledged, and honored. If you need proof of the scope of this change, consider who's in the crowd with you. Engineers, lawyers, entrepreneurs, marketing experts, researchers, artists, politicians, activists, all are being honored here. In the years and decades to come, your collective impact on the city of Philadelphia, the Hispanic community, the country, and the world has the potential to be seismic, tectonic, world-changing, narrative-changing, history-making. Remember the names you hear tonight, because I guarantee you'll be hearing them again. These are your allies, and the one cause you and we are all working towards is a noble one, a more diverse, inclusive, equitable, and just world. But to achieve that is not enough that you or we succeed as individuals. It's not enough for us to climb the proverbial mountains of our own respective professions or organizations. We need to be more role models and exemplars. We need to be advocates for diversity, inclusion, and equity. We need to be mentors to those emerging leaders, career sponsors to those that need a competitive edge, leaders at the highest ranks within our organizations and communities. For every rocky ledge we scale, we need to reach down and help someone take the next step up, just as others, no doubt, did for us. Just as Felix Varela did for thousands upon thousands of immigrants. You all are at a place in your careers where you can have that kind of impact. Author David Brooks has written about the idea of a second mountain. When you get that first job, and it's all about your job title, your scope of responsibility, your compensation, that's your first mountain, and it's all about you. By contrast, your second mountain is all about finding a role where you can be in service to others, to a cause greater than yourself. SHIP is that second mountain for me. In addition to SHIP members, I continuously look around to see who I can directly and expressly help and support in their own professional climb, just as others did for me. Have you ever seen a video of people forming a human chain to save someone in an ocean riptide? It's the same idea when we talk about climbing our collective second mountain. The more hands that are locked, the more people you looking to serve others, the easier it is to pull people up together, always better together. But the truth is, we still have a long climb in front of us. As of 2019, Hispanics represented 18% of the US workforce, but only 10% of professional occupations and 8% of professional STEM occupations. Something my organization, SHIP, has worked for decades trying to address. Meanwhile, Latinos and Hispanic Americans occupy just 10% of US congressional seats, and that's by far the highest number ever. Only 2% of current Fortune 500 CEOs, that's 10 people total, are Hispanic heritage. We can do better. We must do better. And it's your generation that will ensure this transformation happens. If you're ever in a position to advocate for diversity, inclusion, and equity, and no doubt some of you have been already, remember that D&I isn't just good PR, it's good business. According to consulting firm McKinsey & Company, the most diverse companies are 35% more likely to exceed industry in earnings. In 2018, the Harvard Business Review found that when Hispanic representation increases 1% within an organization, revenue increases 3%. One study found that greater inclusion in tech could add 1.2 to 1.6% to the US GDP, hundreds of billions of dollars. That's what's at stake. That's the kind of transformation we're talking about. At the same time, it's easy to lose sight of the chaos happening all around us. A pandemic that's exposed the flaws in our social and political institutions. The heinous killings of George Floyd, Breonna Taylor, Elijah McClain, and too many others to count. Months of protests in cities across the country. A nation more polarized than it's ever been. A social fabric tearing at the seams. These are tumultuous times, trying times, a reckoning, no doubt. Given everything that's going on with the new crisis arising by the day, how do we account for it all? How do we both address the many challenges right in front of us and solve the long-standing systemic issues that people of color have faced for decades? How can we keep climbing this mountain and make sure others have a foothold as well when that mountain is being buried in a blizzard? It feels impossible, overwhelming, until we remember that we're not climbing this mountain alone. Even if your life and work barely leaves you enough time to sleep, you can still be an ally to the cause of social justice, to the cause of equality and equity, to the cause of progress. Maybe it's a recurring donation to a nonprofit like SHIP. Maybe it's taking the time to amplify the voices behind these movements on social media. Maybe it's doing some extra reading on a subject you haven't encountered before, like the history of redlining policies in American cities, or the legacy of the LGBTQ movement. Maybe it's working with different ERGs within your organization to create more holistic D&I initiatives. You do any of these things, you are helping someone take another step up that mountain. More importantly, you are doing the essential work of writing a new narrative, of not recreating history, but creating a new one, sowing the seeds of change to create something truly transformative, an inflection point from which new institutions, new possibilities, and new paradigms of power can be created. All of you are in a unique position. You're not just exemplars in your respective fields, you're influencers. And I know that term has a somewhat negative connotation. Like me, you might think of those 19-year-old kids plugging products to their 50,000 Instagram followers. But yours is a different kind of influence. People will listen to you, not just your peers, but folks from my generation, and more importantly, those coming up behind you. That's the kind of clout that an award like this gives you. So use it. Own your accomplishments, own your expertise, own your experiences, and use them to amplify the causes that you believe in. But this kind of platform doesn't exist in a vacuum. Without organizations like Aldea shining a spotlight on the next generation of diverse and inclusive leaders, the cause of D&I becomes that much harder. That's why it's such an honor for me to be here tonight. Aldea is an organization that understands the power and potency of amplification, of giving people a platform, a spotlight, an opportunity to have their voices heard, to write a new narrative. To Hernan and the rest of the Aldea team, thank you for shining that light. Mil gracias. And to the 40 honorees with us here tonight, I issue this challenge. Dare to change the world. Dare to write a line in America's narrative. But don't lose sight of your own backyard, your community, the amazing and vibrant city that has shaped you in so many ways. There's so much history here, one you could spend a lifetime reading about. And Aldea has borne witness to much of it, particularly over the past 25 years. The best chapters have yet to be written, and it is up to you to write them. Like Felix Varela, you have a chance to leave your mark, not just on this city, but on the world. Now, I'm not suggesting that Varela was some flawless paragon of virtue. Like most men of his era, he was flawed, conflicted, constrained by the social and political dynamics of the time. But that doesn't mean that we can't draw insight or even a bit of inspiration from his undoubtedly remarkable life and the seeds of change that he helped to sow. Here was a person who dared to look beyond his little bubble, who recognized causes, humanity, emancipation, liberation, and spent his entire life fighting for them. For change, there's honor in that, integrity, courage, conviction. The times may be different, but those values are timeless. 100 years from now, chances are none of us are going to have statues built in our honor like Felix Varela did. And that's okay. Most statues are pretty unflattering in more ways than one. The thing is, progress isn't measured in bronze or rock. It isn't measured in buildings or history books. It's measured in the diversity, inclusivity, and equity of our classrooms, our college campuses, our C-suites, our boardrooms, our institutions, our centers of power. It's measured in the health and happiness of people, of all people. This is the legacy you're leaving. This is the history you're writing. This award is but one chapter in that greater work. So keep on writing it, one inspiring line at a time. Keep on building a better world, one action at a time. Keep the march of progress going, one step at a time. And keep your eyes on the bigger picture in front of you, one mountain at a time. Thank you. Gracias. God bless. Namaste.
Having to select the 40 most qualified individuals from over 160 nominees was a difficult task for the judges, but we could not be more proud of their selections. This diverse and deserving group of 40 professionals collectively represents the array of industries that drive our regional economy. This cohort represents corporate leaders, nonprofit executive directors, entrepreneurs, engineers, finance professionals, journalists, and the list goes on. it's my privilege to present the inaugural class of Aldea's 40 Under 40. Orlando Almonte, Nancy Ayon Ramirez, Dynasty Battles, Andres Bisono Leon, Janelle Coluccio, Rafael Castro, Irene Contreras, Diana Cortez, Francisco Cortez, Ivalis Crespo, Alex Cruz, Rebecca Cruz Estevez, Andre Del Valle, Amy Eusebio, Gabriela Gabriel Paez, Jessica Garcia, Ben Gobo, Brenda Hernandez Torres, Akbar Hossein, Yolanda Jimenez Colon, Emmanuel Lopez Capo, Yocasta Laura, Danelsi Medrano, Erika Guadalupe Nunez, Virginia Orozco, Nacheli Juliana Ortiz Gonzalez, Lisa Barley, Stephanie Perez Jarmul, Jasmine Reyes, Jasmine Rivera, Shanik Rodriguez, Salvador Rodriguez, Danielle Roque, Jonathan Santiago, Dalina Soto, Joy Soto, Yarisa Walsh, Jasmine Williams, Matthew Wong, Chad Workman, the work and accomplishments of these young professionals is remarkable, but they could not have done it without the support of those who surround them. Let's hear what they have to say.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you to my community at Juntos for trusting me and giving me the opportunity to do this work and for giving me a home. I am grateful to be in La Lucha with you. Si se puede.
I would like to thank Aldea for putting together such an extraordinary event such as this. Second, I would like to thank the 4 judges that selected me to be a part of the extraordinary class of 2020, 40 Under 40. But this wouldn't be possible if my good friend Spring Brooks did not submit my name for the process. Lastly, I would like to congratulate the 39 other honorees, and I wish you guys the best. Thank you.
Muchísimas gracias a Aldea, first and foremost, for creating this opportunity and event, and an additional appreciation and gratitude to my sorority, Lambda Theta Alpha Latin Sorority Incorporated. Being a sister of LTA has allowed me to continue honing in on my leadership development, while also being an integral part of a supportive community of women who continuously lift each other up. Thank you.
Thank you to my family and friends and colleagues, and also thank you to my co-workers and boss Sandra Clark from WHOI.
Thank you to my mom and my dad and my sister and brother for always motivating and supporting me in all my dreams.
Thank you, Aldea, for the recognition, but even more for the support given to the Hispanic community and for making diversity and inclusion your priority. Thank you to everyone who behind have influenced my achievements. Congratulations to all the other honorees and the many more who in their own way give their best to make this a better place.
I want to thank Aldea. Thank you so much for giving me the opportunity to become 40 under 40. I want to thank, the BI Coalition for supporting me all these 5 years. Also, I want to thank the City of Philadelphia for being supportive, and also all the women who become role models with me and helping me support this. I also want to thank my mom and the community for always pushing forward and always challenging me in the future. Gracias a toda mi familia.
Thank you to the law offices of Eric Shore and Aldea for this great honor.
Thank you so much to Aldea for the 40 under 40 nomination. Thank you to the sponsors, to the judges, to my family and friends, and most importantly, to my Lord Jesus Christ for giving me this honor. Thank you so much.
Thank you to my family for always supporting me.
First and foremost, let me thank Aldea and its credible team for putting this event together and adjusting given the circumstances so that we could recognize the truly amazing work of so many amazing Latinos from across the region. I'd like to thank my parents, who are both immigrants, who came to this country with no money, no ability to speak the language, in hopes that they could provide a better family and a better life for their future children. I'd like to thank them for always pushing me to be the best version of myself. And a special thank you to my family, my girlfriend, and my team for all of their support during this untraditional campaign that we ran in the middle of COVID. To Councilmember Maria Quinones Sanchez and Ketsia Lozada for believing in me, for their patience and the willingness to teach the next generation of leaders, which led me to be able to run for office. And lastly, I'd like to say thank you to my fellow honorees, many of which I've worked closely with, for all the work that you are doing to continue to amplify the voices of millions of Latinos, not only here in Philadelphia, but throughout the region. And I'd like to leave everyone with this quote that has stuck with me throughout my career. Aunque hablamos con acento, no pensamos con acento. Although we speak with an accent, we don't think with one. So regardless of the color of your skin or the language you speak, you can be the change that you want to see in the world. Thank you so much for being with us tonight, and thank you so much, Aldea.
Thank you, Aldea, for this honor, and thank you to my family and friends for always being there for me.
Thank you to the City of Philadelphia for this amazing opportunity. Also, thank you to my mother and family and friends for all the support you've given me throughout the years. And I can't forget my boarding school, Milton Hershey School. Thank you. Without you, I wouldn't be here.
Thank you, Aldea, for presenting this award, honoring me alongside some very talented and extraordinary individuals. I want to thank my employer, J. Montgomery Scott, for providing a workplace that strives to engage diversity and the local surrounding community. I also want to thank the Association of Latino Professionals for America and the local Philadelphia chapter for being the cornerstone in the community and the cornerstone of the Latino professional community and helping me pave the road for the next generation of Latino professionals. I want to thank my family, my mom, my dad, my sisters, and my brother, who have shown me hard work is the only way I can achieve my dreams. I especially want to thank my wife, Sarah, who supports me through this crazy journey called life. And without her in my corner, I would not be able to do any of this currently. I want to thank Aldea again, the sponsors, and the judges that selected me as an honoree. Thank you and have a great day.
Thank you to all my Philadelphia Asian and queer family and to all those who've made this group possible.
Thank you to my family, especially my mom and my husband. They motivate me to be the best version of myself every single day. When I left Venezuela almost 6 years ago, I thought my career was ended, but I was wrong. It was just the beginning. I also want to thank the City of Philadelphia for giving me the opportunity to serve all the amazing people who live in the city. Muchísimas gracias a todos.
Thank you to my family, my wife, and the City of Philadelphia for the honor.
So I just want to take a moment to thank Aldea for doing the only event in the region that highlights young Latinx professionals. I also would love to thank everyone that's helped me out in my professional career, from professors to people that I've worked with, high-level VPs that were really influential and a part of my development. Of course, my family, and of course, above all, God.
Thank you to Aldea for letting me be part of this event. And I also want to thank my team for helping me make this possible.
Thank you to Aldea and the judges for making me a part of this awesome group of people. Thank you also to everyone who believed in me, especially my wife, who pushed me to start doing what I thought was right, and the Welcoming Center, which I'm really proud to be a part of.
Thank you to Rosemont College, Alpha, Global Tax Management,
and my parents for this honor.
My name is Jasmine Rivera, and I want to say thank you to my parents, Narita and Adolf Rivera, my brother, my sister, for my family to raise me to be a fighter. Big shout out to my movement family who works every day for a more just world. And a special thank you to my husband and my daughter, Nico. Shut down Burks.
Thank you, family, friends, and colleagues for your unconditional support throughout the year. I couldn't have done it without you.
Thank you to every woman of color that came before me and opened doors for us. Thank you to Diego, Sebastian, and Isabella for supporting me and be always there for me. And thank you to my dear love, Marianne. Gracias.
Thank you to my 4 daughters for supporting me and putting up with me as I'm juggling multiple roles at home.
Thank you to my family and team for their support in making my dream a reality.
Thank you to my husband, my family, and my friends. Gracias a mi esposo, mi familia, y mis amigos for believing in me and always supporting me. It's because of you that I'm here today.
I want to thank my family, my husband, and my boss, and all the mentors along the way that I've had in my career.
Thank you to God first for giving me the wisdom and strength to do my job and do it with excellence. Thank you to my family for always being there and supporting. And special thanks to my colleagues and the residents of Hunting Park for working hard to make their community better.
Thank you first and foremost to God, my family, Lambda Theta Alpha, and the ACE mentoring program of Greater Philadelphia.
I just want to say thank you to my King Jesus for giving me this wonderful opportunity, opening this door for me, and for every single one who nominated me.
I'd like to take this time to thank the staff for making this event possible, and to thank my family, friends, and partner, and specifically my mother for reminding me that every person, no matter how small or soft-spoken, can make an impact on the world.
It is a great honor to be among this group of outstanding individuals, so thank you very much, Aldea and the City of Philadelphia.
Thank you for my large, supportive family, my super dope friends who keep me grounded, and for the mentors who believed in me and saw the light and allowed me to shine.
Thank you to my mentor, Anna, and the company for the support and guidance.
I want to thank my friend and family for this great opportunity to be nominated for this outstanding award, not only among the Latino community and in Philadelphia, but across the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania.
Thank you very much. I'm very humbled and honored to receive this award. I did want to thank the City of Philadelphia for their support and just the privilege to be named as the first Latina chair of the litigation group of the law department. I want to thank everyone within the City of Philadelphia, from the mayor's office to all the clients we serve, and in particular the executive team and all of the attorneys and staff that I work with on a daily basis that make my job so much better and easier because they are so great. I in particular want to thank my family, my parents, and in particular my partner and our daughter, who give me the strength and the inspiration to do this every day and to do it the best that I can. Thank you. Thank you to my family and SHIP for fostering my growth as a leader in STEM.
Thank you to all the queer and trans Latinx youth in Philadelphia who have allowed me to support them and their development, for everything they've accomplished, they're accomplishing, and everything they will accomplish. This is for them. Thank you.
Te quiero dar las gracias al día por esta oportunidad. Nos sentimos de verdad que muy honrados. Trabajamos no para que nos feliciten, pero sí es bueno escuchar que uno está haciendo un buen trabajo. Así que muchas gracias al día por reconocer a esos latinos que estamos metiendo manos para ayudar al necesitado. También le quiero dar las gracias primero que nada a Dios porque nos da la oportunidad de seguir adelante. He crecido mucho en el ambiente profesional, así que todo eso se lo debo a Dios. Mis padres no los puedo dejar pasar por alto porque ellos me han enseñado todo lo que soy, todos los valores y todos los buenos sentimientos, se los debo a ellos, ya que siempre me enseñaron a andar con rectitud y eso es lo que tratamos de hacer.
Thank you.
Thank you. Gracias.
Thank you.
Thank you.
It's been an honor to MC Aldea's inaugural 40 Under 40. This is just one of many events sponsored by Aldea. The next event is Aldea's Top Lawyers. Please visit aldeanews.com/events. Thanks to Aldea, we are shining a light on some of Philadelphia's most impressive and inspiring young leaders. Let me end by sharing this quote from Julian Castro. In the end, the American dream is not a sprint or even a marathon, but a relay. Our families don't always cross the finish line in the span of one generation, but each generation passes on to the next the fruits of their labors. It's now time for these 40 remarkable young leaders to carry the baton for generations to come. Felicidades.